Introduction to CPI260. The California Psychological Inventory, or CPI260, is a selection and development instrument that predicts what people will say or do in specific contexts. CPI260, consisting of 260 items, has high reliability and validity, and its accuracy has been demonstrated in several work settings. At BCCL, we have been using the CPI260 assessment for hiring at senior and middle levels, or N1 and N2 levels in the organizational hierarchy. The basic profile generated by the CPI260 instrument is the Client Feedback Report, or CFR. Please keep a copy of the CFR with you as you go through this video. Check validity of results. Before interpreting the report, you should check if the candidate is candidly self-disclosing or creating a fake good profile. Check under the heading Your Approach to the Instrument on page 2 for a sentence that states no indication of anything unusual was found. Lifestyle and level of satisfaction. The CPI260 defines 4 lifestyles by combining an individual's interpersonal approach that is being active or reserved with intrapersonal values, such as being accepting or questioning the social norms. The 4 lifestyles are implementer lifestyle, supporter lifestyle, innovator lifestyle, and visualizer lifestyle. The lifestyle diagram on page 4 of the report presents the candidate's lifestyle results. Level of satisfaction. Page 5 of the report presents the level of satisfaction. The numerical value indicated on the scale of 1 to 7 identifies the extent to which the candidate tends to take a particular lifestyle to its positive potential. The 5 categories of scales. CPI260 evaluates the candidate across 26 scales, which are grouped into 5 categories. The categories are dealing with others, self-management, motivations and thinking style, personal characteristics, and work-related measures. Reading a scale. Let us look at an illustration for reading a scale. Turn to page 6 of the report. Scores are reported in standardized form, based on a norm sample of 6,000 persons, of which 3,000 are men and 3,000 are women. For each scale, 50 is the norm-based midpoint. The lower the score, the more relevant the comments to the left of the graph will be. The higher the score, the more relevant those to the right of the graph will be. Look at the category Dealing with Others. Under this category, you should be able to see 7 scales, which are dominance, capacity for status, sociability, social presence, self-acceptance, independence, and empathy. The scores on all these scales are represented after the scale label. Competency Assessment Report. For the benefit of hiring managers, we have created a Competency Assessment Report that maps BCCL's behavioral competencies with CPI scales. Each competency is mapped to 1 or 2 CPI scales. Further, there is a norm score on each of these scales, which is based on a Global Center of Creative Leadership sample of 5,610 managers. A candidate's scores on the CPI report are benchmarked against the CCL norm scores. For a candidate to meet the benchmark on a competency, he or she should meet the CCL norm scores on the underlying scale or scales. A competency assessment report helps an interviewer in asking probing questions on competencies where a candidate does not meet the benchmark. Comparative Assessment Report. A comparative assessment report is also generated, which ranks the candidates based on the Competency Assessment Report. The ranking is an indicative but not a definitive view of who is a better candidate for a position.